Hello and welcome to another episode of Roach Koach, the new metal podcast you deserve. My name is Lauren Kozlowski. With me, as always, the original Roach Rider, Mr. Matt Nas.
Keep it rolling, baby.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today for a very special episode of Roach Koach, a very special Who's Tweeting episode, as we have an incredible guest with us. Because I told you guys, when we're doing the March to 500 episodes, it's nothing but hot guests. It's only the best guests. And this
All
week,
hotties, no naughties.
all hotties, no naughties, absolutely. And this week we got one of the hottest guests. It's John Cullen of the P.O.D.Kast.
Whoop, 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 whoop. What's up, boys?
Yay.
Thank you so much for having me back. Always love podding with you guys, whether it's on your show or our show. We always have a great time. Thrilled to be back. Thank you for having me.
John, we're so glad to have you back on the pod. You have so much going on in your life, along with, I would say, when you guys started the P.O.D.Kast, you were just doing one album a month,
Yep.
taking it easy. And you guys are neck deep in the new now because
We're neck deep.
you guys are doing bonus albums on your Patreon, extra tracks. You are digging in deep. You're in deep as we are now. You're getting into the obscure ones.
We are getting into the obscure ones. Yes, we're deep now. I think we just recorded episode 74. As you listen to this episode of Roach Koach, it will already be out. But as we are recording it, it is not out yet. But yeah, we just did episode 74 of the main show. And then, yeah, as you said, we do one like full length bonus episode a month. We've been doing that almost since the pod started. I would say that was about 4 months after the pod started. We were doing one bonus episode a month. Then, yes, we added the singles as well. So we do 2 kind of mini episodes where we review a song. So we are doing 4 episodes a month. 2 of them, though, are a little shorter. The song ones tend to be about a half hour. So they're a little shorter. But then, because we only do 1 episode a month, our main episodes are longies. They get longer. They're getting longer all the time.
Welcome.
We're usually 2+ hours on the album ones. But yeah, we are getting deep. We're getting into the B tier. I mean, on the bonus episodes, we're talking D tier. We're talking F tier. We're talking IJKLMNO tier. We're doing shit I've never heard of before that sucks. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, we do this too, and I'm sure you guys have dipped into this a little bit. I know you've done some butt rock, you've done some side project stuff, whatever.
Mhm.
We also do, and we don't do this too often, but maybe once a year, we'll do an album that I feel like has the spirit of new metal, even though it is like decidedly not new metal. So like, we did Avril Lavigne's debut album, which is definitely has like a little bit of new metal influence in it. I think if Avril had her way, she would have done a new metal album. But the labels, L.A. Reid wouldn't let her.
He wouldn't let her.
Let her cook, you know?
Yeah.
And then we did DMX, who is probably the most new metal of rappers. It's either him or Eminem. And I think we will probably do Eminem at some point too. But yeah, we try to like, we're in that zone now where it's like, yes, we're doing the B, C, D tier albums, and we're also dipping into like stuff that was definitely influenced or a product of the new metal era that is like decidedly not new metal. I mean, we're nowhere near the catalog breadth that you guys have covered, but yeah, we're definitely getting into the nitty gritty for sure.
Yeah. Well, I saw you were doing a dope record, and I was like, oh, they're in it now. Like,
Yes.
they're in it. Once you start doing them dope records,
It's over.
It's
Oh,
over.
yeah.
It's over.
Oh yeah.
Fucking-
Yeah, we just did Felons and Revolutionaries. You're like, oh, I liked this better when it was Marilyn Manson and Static X. Yeah, but that's where, yeah, we're in it, baby. We are in it.
And along with the new metal, we have to talk about this. As we post this episode, your new book has been released in Canada. It's called Curling Rocks. Perfect. Canadian guest wrote a book about curling. You couldn't write a better bit, but you did indeed. How important is curling to you, John?
Very, very. I mean, it's basically my whole job now. So yeah, I was a high level competitive curler. My team peaked at like number 25 in the world. I was traveling all across Canada and parts of America, playing in tournaments and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't like Olympic level. I was sort of like the tier below the teams that would be in the Olympics. But yeah, it was a very competitive curler. It was a huge part of my life for 2 decades essentially. And then I retired from competitive play just before COVID. So pretty much like 5 years ago now. And in the last few years have become a prominent curling media member. And it's kind of like it's approaching my full-time job now. Like I have a curling podcast, a weekly curling podcast. I am the social media face of like the biggest tournament series in curling, and I'm also a commentator for them. So travel all across Canada. We're doing our first US event this year. I was telling you guys before we got on the air, I need a US visa because we are doing a tournament in Lake Tahoe in November.
Wow.
So we're going to be heading out there. We're planning to expand to Asia, Europe. So yeah, it's kind of turned into like my actual job. But yes, it means a lot to me. I love the sport, always have. I've played it since I was 12, and yeah, and I wrote a book. I wrote a book about curling, which is a very funny thing to do and to say, and to come on a new metal podcast to promote.
That's what I was going to say. I'm so glad we're associating your strong curling brand with Roach Koach.
That's right. I said, get me on your finest American new metal podcast. That is the exact audience of curling, America, and heavy music. But hey, I host a new metal podcast. So like there has to be some more of us out there. I can't just be the only one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, based on all of your bona fides, which I was not aware of all of them, does this make you the Don Cherry of curling?
I guess. I mean, I don't want to be the Don. I'm like much less racist than Don Cherry is.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't thinking that part. I was thinking more of like the flamboyant jacket part,
I'm
not
definitely like
racism.
Yeah, like all the commentators or most of the commentators in curling history have been former athletes in the sport who achieved much higher heights than I did. They're like Olympic champions, world champions, that sort of thing. That's the type of people who get into the broadcast booth. And I have kind of wormed my way in there by being the first guy who was like, but what if this was funny and entertaining?
What
if there was just a guy who was like funny sometimes and tried to make curling a little more entertaining? And so yes, in that sense, I think I am a little bit like the Don Cherry of curling, just with less flamboyant suits and less racism.
Well, we're very grateful that you're the hammer of this podcast this
nice.
evening.
Well done, Matt. Very nice.
That's just for you.
Matt and I are Metro Detroit boys. We had CBC,
Hell yeah.
we were watching it. And also, my dad used to watch a lot of curling when I was growing up, and he would call me to the room and he'd say, look at these guys go with the brooms. That's what he would say.
And then he would crank up down with the sickness.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I also somewhat famously made a very successful podcast about curling. Like I have a weekly like news podcast about curling, but I also made a podcast called Broomgate, a curling scandal, which became the #1 podcast in Canada and won some awards and stuff. So yeah, like I've kind of just it's just my whole thing now. So
you're just the curling guy.
Just the curling guy who comes home from curling tournaments and sits down with the most American man on the planet, Brian Quinby, and or I should say the most middle American man on the planet, Brian Quinby.
I think that's accurate.
And I talk about new metal with him. And you know what? I'm sure it's similar for you guys. The passion is still there. It's just a fun thing to talk about. I like getting together with my buddy and talking about music. Because yeah, my wife will sometimes be like, your jobs are getting so busy. Like you just got to drop some stuff. And I'm like, P.O.D.Kast, we get together twice a month to record. I just talked to my friend Brian about this music that I like and also hate. Like it's fun, it's fun, right?
Yeah,
it's hard to imagine giving it up. And I think Brian feels the same.
Yeah. I mean, once you're in it, as Matt and I really are, and what we'll say to each other sometimes is that there'll be a moment where it's like, oh, man, we're really grinding it out. And then we do some album, we do some episode, and it just like lights a fire in us. And we're just like, we're not giving up. You kidding me? No, we still got so much. Yeah.
It's also, do you guys feel this too? And maybe this is like egotistical to say, but obviously like there are at this point quite a number of new metal podcasts, but like really, it's you guys, it's us, and it's the agenda. And so you feel like we're like we're the three players, and what if one of us went away? We can't go away. We gotta serve the community, you know what I mean? Like, as again, maybe that's just like me being cocky, but there is a part of me that's like, you guys were there first, and then we came after you, and then agenda came after us. But like, it does kind of feel like we're the ones who kind of got this all going, and you feel like we gotta keep it going. People like this shit. We gotta keep it up.
I do agree with it.
We are torchbearers, and I feel personally that in my whole life, I never would have thought anybody would have given a shit about what I thought about the new Limp Bizkit record. So to have that honor, thrust upon my shoulders by saying, sure, I'll produce your podcast. And now 9 years later, I feel like we can't extinguish this torch because I got to milk this fucking cow for as much as I can. Give me them new metal dollars, son.
Hell yeah. Good point. I think it's also, there is this element of, people talk about the new metal revival and all of that sort of thing. And I think there is, to be clear, the P.O.D.Kast had absolutely zero to do with the new metal revival. However, we were doing the show before it happened, as were you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So there is also, I think, a part of us that feels like, not that we caused it, because we absolutely did not, but again, it's like we're kind of riding a wave now. Like I'm sure it's the same for you guys. We are getting more listeners now than we were before, and like people are reinvestigating this music positively, which we had been doing already. It's like,
Right.
yeah, we were already on this. We were already saying Around the Fur was good in 2019, 2017 for you guys, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there is also an element of that too, where you're like, just like, we gotta enjoy it, because when we started the P.O.D.Kast, we just thought people were gonna laugh at our show forever. It was gonna be like an inside joke almost. I mean, the show is fucking called the P.O.D.Kast. Like, we're like, this is gonna just be an inside joke forever. And then like you said, we have a dedicated fan base, as you guys do, and also it feels like the fan base is expanding, and you want to like give them more of the thing, because it is bigger now than it was literally when we were listening to it growing up.
I think the hardest thing is when you do a bunch of albums that are like the best of the genre, and you do them in the first 5 shows, and then you're almost to 500 shows. It becomes a little more difficult to spark.
Yeah.
But when you get one that is like, where the fuck? What's the one, Lauren, that I'm thinking of from like...
Oh, Painfield.
Never heard this band before in my life. We put it on, and it was like lighter fluid got lit off. It was just like, this is why we're still doing this. It's so clear to us that it's like, oh, there's still so many gems. But I will say, and I said it to the Patreon audience, and I'll say it here on this podcast, sometimes I get weighed down by the heaviness of the mid-tier.
Oh, it's a lot, man.
And
we get, and I think, and you guys get this too, I think, there is like this, I think part of the revival has done this, where people think that like, because you have a new metal podcast, you have to say or think that all new metal is good. And like, we get Spotify comments all the time. Like, we'll put an episode out, and people will be like, you guys don't even like new metal because you didn't like this album, and you guys don't even fucking like it.
Oh,
John, my friend, we have been
we are a whole Reddit thread.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We get the same, and Brian and I have never pretended that we love it all. We're like, yeah, we grew up on literally 3 bands. Now we're going back and exploring the worst of the genre that's 30 years old, 25 years old in some cases. And then people are just like, I can't believe you said the Head PE record wasn't that good, or whatever it happens to be. I didn't even hate that record. That's not the correct example, but just I can't even. You guys don't even like this, and you're like, it's not about that. What other thing has like a pod about it? And like, even like, let's say like a TV recap podcast, are you supposed to say every episode of the show is good? Like, oh, we're covering the 10 seasons of Dawson's Creek or whatever, and if you say that season 7 episode 2 was bad, the fans go, do you even like Dawson's Creek? It's
Yeah.
like,
How
come
dare
on,
you?
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
how
mean,
dare you?
That's an essential episode.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's just like that part of it, I think Brian and I both find to be very odd, especially because from the beginning it's always been about the vibes almost more than the music for us.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny that early on, and honestly, for the first few years of the show, that was definitely the complaint, was that we didn't like enough, and that we did, when we would get a complaint. I mean, our listeners very much on board with whatever we were doing, but yeah,
Sure.
when people would straggle in, there would be a complaint. The feeling now is that I feel like we have records coming across, and I've been accused of being too nice. That's the thing I
Oh,
see now, is that
that is
now
interesting.
I remember I don't even remember what album it was, but something came up and somebody was like, "Straight Lauren, this is straight dog shit. I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Oh, now it's dog shit? Okay.
I
All
don't think we've
right."
ever gotten that feedback. I don't think anyone has ever said we are too nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you may feel the same way. I want the album to be amazing or the fucking worst thing I've ever heard.
100%.
Because when it's just like we did Stone Sour for the side projects.
Yeah.
Not
it's
my
fine.
favorite,
It's
but
fine.
it's like 20 songs in a row that are just kind of there. And
Yeah.
it's like once you say your thing of I'm not super into this and it's not really my thing, by track 18 you're just like, hey, just play the recording, it's just me, like, and it just
Yes.
is like that episode I literally got called out for, like, Matt is checked out because I put this up on YouTube
Right.
and literally I'm like doing anything to get through the episode.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have it harder because you go song by song. We yeah, no offense to you, but we
But
did
stop.
it smarter. We did it smarter than you guys, where the Stone Sour episode, man, we might have talked about the music for 2 minutes. It was mostly about how really the whole ethos of the Stone Sour record is Corey Taylor wanted people to know who he was, so that when he went into bars, people would be like, hey, you're Corey Taylor from Slipknot, because he didn't get that before. That's the only reason that Stone Sour record exists. And we just go on and on and on about that, and we barely talk about the music. So yeah, I can agree with you on that. It's got to be a lot harder to go track by track when it's like dead ass mid tier. I'm the same about that with stand up. And Lauren, maybe you're like this with improv and stuff too. Like, I've been doing stand up for 15 years, and I always say this to people, and I feel like they get very confused. But like, I'm the same with stand up. I either want to see one of the 50 best comedians in the world, or I want to see one of the worst things I've ever seen. So even someone who I would describe as really good, I don't even want to see anymore.
Well,
I'm
I've
just
got
like,
a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia that is just
yeah,
for you.
it's perfect. Honestly, all my faves are there, and I think that's so cool. And I wish they would have invited me. But yeah, like, that's where I'm at. I'm like, I want someone to bomb so hard I'm talking about it for years, or I want to see Nate Bargatze, and that's it. I'm like, don't. Otherwise, I'm out.
You know what? That's very true. I don't think I've really verbalized it, but it is something that I've thought about over the last few years, that all of the best bits of improv that I've seen have not been best bits. They've been really bad things that I then come back and I'm tell Matt about. Or, I mean, I saw this set with our friend Chris Peterson a couple years ago, and I think I'm going to talk about that set for the rest of my
Yeah, dude.
life.
There's a woman I saw bomb an open mic 10 years ago, and I am still talking about it, and I will talk about it till I die. It is it's incredible. Yeah, it was so insane. And then I also found out, like, I was sure, because I told the story on a podcast, I think. And so I'll give you the short version of the story. Is I was on the road. The club I was working at did like a workshop for amateur comedians. So they had like a pro-am night, but an hour before the pro-am night, if you were the headliner of the club, they would ask you to come down and just like chat with the amateur comedians, give them some advice, maybe some joke tips, whatever. So I meet this woman and she's probably like early 40s, seems very nice, whatever. So that makes it worse because I know her. Like, it's not know her, but like I've spoken to her, and it's not the same as just like someone goes up and they do bad. And what, like, I feel like, oh, this is like a sweet, nice woman. So she comes on stage and she's wearing a trench coat, and it's like designed, it goes down to about her knees, and she's wearing nothing below her knees. So, of course, when you're a stand-up comedian, you're anticipating like, okay, what's the bit here? Like, what's going to happen? And I thought it was going to be something like she was going to kind of do the set insinuating that she was like naked underneath it or something like that. She does not reference her onstage wear for the first 4.5 minutes of her 5-minute set. And then to this day, I wish I could remember the bit, but she does some bit that involves at the end of her set, she takes off the trench coat and reveals she's wearing an adult diaper. And that was part of the bit. And I don't, again, I wish so badly I could remember the joke, but it was just like she bombed for 4.5 minutes, takes off the trench coat, she's wearing an adult diaper, gets 0 laughs, and then just goes, okay, have a good night. Just has to like walk off the stage wearing the, and so I was like convinced this was the only time this woman had ever done comedy. And I told this story on a podcast, and then another comedian reached out to me and they're like, no, I saw her do the same bit. And I was like, she was doing that. She did it again. Did I see it for like the 5th time? Was I the first and she kept doing it? Like, it was so fucking crazy. I was like, what is happening?
We may never talk about new metal tonight because I need to tell you this story. I hosted a variety show, and we put an open call out for spots. And I always had a
variety show feels dangerous. When you're putting out an open call variety show, that feels dangerous.
But that's what I wanted. I just wanted fucking the best. So this local stand-up, her name, and you can look at her up on YouTube after this. Her name was CC Dynamite.
Okay, love it already.
Okay, she's a small independent filmmaker. She also has a puppet. Now this is liberal use of the word puppet. It is a puppet, but it's just kind of like a sock with a wig. It is rough.
Okay.
Rough. She comes up and she's like, "Hi, my name's CC Dynamite. Here's my act." And she's like kind of off the whole time, like how she presents herself. Everything about this lady is like a little like, okay, are you okay? Are you balanced? Do you need help? What's going on? Her jokes are just this. So I was going to the park. No, you're not.
I mean, I'm laughing. Sounds like I would have loved this.
Sounds like a killer.
She's
a killer.
It was so funny, but also like not funny at all. And I didn't know if I booked her, if people would be laughing for the right reason or not laughing and making it worse. But I've never seen anybody set themselves up that this puppet literally loathed being on her hand. It was just like,
Man.
I'm going to go to the store. No, you're not going to the store. It's like,
I love it. It
Oh
sounds awesome to me.
wild. It was just wild. I'll never forget that. I was there with our mutual friend Joe Hingelberg, and he was like, "You got to book her." I'm like, "I cannot." book her."
That's classic Joe.
That sounds awesome to me.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, well, the one I always think about, and I don't even remember the name of this team, but I was watching a set with our good friend Chris Peterson, who is one of the finest improvisers I've ever seen. And it was a team of very young new people.
Sure.
and they were out there making some choices, and I was glad they were making choices, make those choices. And they were pretending to be a band, a famous band, but they were getting all the details wrong. But that's fine, it's improv. And it seemed like maybe that was the joke, that they didn't know who was in the band and who played what instrument or anything like
If
that.
you're improvising, that certainly could be the joke.
Yeah,
Certainly could be the joke.
100%.
Yeah. And they were pretending to be a famous band, and someone walked out off the back line after a certain amount of time and said, actually, I'm the lead singer of this band, and that is what I do. And like identified themselves as the lead singer of this band. And one of them said, we're not gonna listen to you anymore. And it was, and then kind of just pushed them off the stage. Peterson and I were like, I remember Peterson said something effective like, one of the finest denials you'll ever see. Like, just unbelievable denial. Like
Man.
I was like, wow. And I'm like, you're on a team with this person. And you were like, get the fuck out of here. Unbelievable. I was laughing harder at that than if they'd actually been funny. Incredible shit.
We love a good no but.
Oh, love a good no but.
No, but
no.
Well, we've been talking improv, we've been talking comedy, but let's talk a little bit of new metal. And the reason we wanted to have you on to start is that you have been making the journey over the past couple of years, John, to see the Holy Trinity, or as I call it, my dream tour, the Three Kings tour of new metal. I want to have to happen. Matt says it's never going to happen. I'm trying to actually.
I agree. I don't think it'll happen.
Okay, well, I'm not giving up. The Three Kings of new metal. You saw them all: Korn, Limp Bizkit, and Deftones live.
Yep.
You finally seen all three.
Finally, yes. So Deftones I've seen the most. I saw them about a month ago as we're recording this, and I think I was trying to remember, but I want to say that was either 6 or 7 for me with Deftones. Deftones were a weird one where like a lot of these bands didn't come to Vancouver, and Deftones did, and I honestly think it's because at the time and still now, but Vancouver has a very good weed scene, and like I honestly believe that is a huge factor. Like they had one, I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast. I certainly have on P.O.D.Kast. They had one tour where they did 3 shows in a row in Vancouver at like a 1,000 cap venue. And I got tickets to one of the shows, and it was the show just for no reason at all, just a total surprise to the audience. They played Adrenaline and Around the Fur cover to cover.
Whoa.
Didn't announce it. It was back in the day of the Deftones blog, and the day of the show, they just wrote something special is happening tonight. And that was it. And then it was, they played Around the Fur and Adrenaline cover to cover. Then they did an encore of Change and Minerva, and that was the whole set. So I was there for that. I saw them at Summer Sanitarium with Metallica back in 2003. And I also saw Limp Bizkit at that show. That is the only other time I saw Limp Bizkit. So for those of you who don't know Summer Sanitarium, that was in the summer of 2003. It was Metallica, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Deftones, and Mudvayne in that order. So the first time I ever saw Deftones was at, I guess, 2 p.m. So around there in a football.
Good
in a
time to see
stadium.
Chud.
Yeah, in a football stadium, pretty much the perfect way to see Deftones for the first time. But yes, so Deftones I had seen before. Limp Bizkit I saw once before at Summer Sanitarium. Korn was a band that just always eluded me. They came to Vancouver in 2000. My parents wouldn't let me go. They came a couple times, and then because I was looking this up the other day because I was like, why did I just never see them? So they came in 2000. Then they didn't come again until 2006. So that is like peak. I'm in university. I'm not admitting I like new metal anymore. I'm certainly not listening to Korn anymore. Like See You on the Other Side came out, I was like, I'm out on these guys. So they came in 2006. They came back in 2007. Then they came in 2010. I'm still in no new metal zone. And then they are playing tonight in Vancouver as we record this. And that's the first time they've been in Vancouver in 15 years. So that was why I had never seen them. Because I was like, it just seems weird that I wouldn't at some point, they wouldn't have come here and I would have gone. And then the other thing is they would never play Seattle. Like Seattle's only about a 3-hour drive from Vancouver. I used to live right on the border, so it was a 2-hour drive. I went to shows in Seattle all the time. Korn loved to play in Auburn because there's an amphitheater in Auburn, and Auburn is like 2 hours east of Seattle.
Mm.
So I just never caught them, and I finally saw them for the first time. So yeah, it was about a year and a half ago. I saw Limp Bizkit in Belfast. My wife and I were over in the UK on vacation. Limp Bizkit happened to be there, so we flew to Belfast and saw Limp Bizkit in an outdoor park of about 30,000 people. Then I saw Deftones on this arena tour supporting private music. And then I saw Korn just like 3 nights ago as we record this. So yes, in the last year and a bit, I have seen the Holy Trinity. And I'll tell you, all 3 shows, pretty incredible. Pretty incredible, I have to say. I would say all 3 unique experiences as well for me, I would say.
Yeah, having seen all 3 myself, and especially the Korn, I guess, evolution over the years, I think the thing that's most incredible is how tight Korn is now. And
So tight.
we've talked about this a lot, and it's like I could see someone arguing that it's like a little bit workmanlike, but I mean they deliver, and Jonathan Davis is never not locked in. Like he's
His
not phoning it
I
in.
couldn't believe his voice.
Mm,
I mean, you talk about a guy like, Korn's been hard touring for 30 years.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who has had noted like drug and alcohol issues. I don't think he was probably treating his body or his voice the best back in the day. He's now in his 50s. And like, I couldn't believe how good it sounded. And I am not like I don't take videos at shows. Generally, I'll take one video to post on the gram and that's it. I'm not I've got my phone out the whole time, whatever. But I just thought to myself, I'm like, God, he sounded really good. And I got home and I was like, was that just all in my head? Like I was just having such a good time. And I listened back to the video on my phone and I was like, no, he sounds fucking good. Like it's crazy. Chino too. Chino sounds great as well. But Chino's a little different because his voice is processed and he does a lot of effects on it and stuff. So I think even if his voice isn't in top shape, you maybe wouldn't even notice in a live setting. But yeah, JD in top form. And I think you're right. Like workman-like, good way to describe it. I mean, Ray Luzier is a freak, insane drummer, zero feel. He's just like, let's go. And he also like did a few too many added stuff into the songs. I want to hear the songs the way they are on the album. I don't need to know that you're a really good drummer. I already know. You don't need to give me more. But that's fine. That's besides the point. Other than that, yes, I agree. Very workmanlike, down to the point. Brian and I talked about it on P.O.D.Kast. The guy they got to play bass looks like Fieldy. I love it. He's like a short, fat guy with a backwards hat on, and he looks like Fieldy. I'm like, that is so smart. Why don't more bands do that? Just get a guy who looked like the old guy. I bet half the fans in that fucking arena had no clue it wasn't Fieldy. Zero clue.
Look, guys, I know it's been a while. You can just call me Landfill.
yeah, no, it's it is funny how they got a guy in and he does all the moves. He does all the fieldy moves.
Yes,
he holds
does
his bass
the
exact same way.
pouty, the like he comes up to the front of the stage to do the slappy slaps, like 100%. So that was really cool. I mean, Deftones was just so neat, and I'm sure you felt the same, Lauren, when you saw them. Matt, I don't know if you went too, but
they're the only ones I haven't seen. I've not seen Cornet and Limp Bizkit.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I saw Deftones. I mean, yes, I saw them in a football stadium, but that was like a one-off kind of thing. Every other time I've seen Deftones, it's been in a club or in a smaller theater. So the fact that they're an arena band now is crazy. I mean, they are literally more popular now than they ever have been in their entire career, which is wild. And so it was interesting just to see them, like, they're clearly, or at least Chino is clearly like loving it, like soaking it in, like can't believe it. It's like the LeBron James, like smiling through it all, can't believe this is my life meme. Like he was just clearly having the time of his life on stage. Again, a guy who's had drinking and substance abuse problems, when you saw Deftones back in the day, it was a coin flip as to whether or not he would be too drunk to
which band is going to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And I saw both. I saw because I can remember when I first started seeing them back in 03, that was like the knock. It was like, they're not that good of a live band, but it would just depend on what night you caught them. Because the first couple times I saw them, I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about. They are tight. Chino sounds amazing. This is incredible. And then I saw them on a drunk night, and it like wasn't as good. But yeah, he's clearly just. I think he is sober now too, and JD is as well. And it was just like awesome to see them soak it all in, and it was so funny because the audience has completely changed as well for Deftones. Like Deftones was like there were teenagers there. It was my concert anyway is full of like goth girlies who were like crying at the songs. Part of me was like, where were these girls when I liked Deftones back in 1999? Where were the cuties? When I was going to Deftones, there weren't no cuties at Deftones. Okay. But it was truly wild. Like I felt like an old guy in a sense at Deftones. I mean, I was on the floor, so there were more old guys on the floor because we can afford to be on the floor. But like even just walking around the concourse, I'm like, it felt like I was seeing a lot of teenagers going to their first concert. Like there was clearly like dads that were bringing their daughters to the show and whatever. And then Korn was just like, oh no, this is all like washed, stinky guys that just still this is who likes them still. Korn, I don't think. I mean, obviously there were some younger people there, but it was funny to see Korn still being no, it's just everyone here has been listening to Korn for 30 years, kind of thing. So that was funny too. Just the dichotomy of the two audiences was interesting because Korn's been playing arenas since the late 90s. So for them, they've always been able to play arenas. Deftones can only play arenas now because the goth girlies are into them. Yeah, exactly. So
that is a good point. Yeah, because I saw the first time I saw Deftones was in 2010 on the Diamond Eyes tour, and they played a dry venue in Pittsburgh in which they complained that they couldn't get any alcohol from the stage. They complained that they couldn't drink.
But that was probably good for you.
Oh yeah, for me. They sounded great.
Yeah.
And but also the audience was all dudes.
Yeah.
All dudes. I don't remember a single woman there. And I remember that when they did Passenger, it felt like everyone was about to have like a religious experience with also an undercurrent of, you think Maynard's in like a case? He's going to come out of a case? I'm like, no, he's not going to come out of a fucking case. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Maynard loves coming to dry clubs.
Maynard wants to be at the dry club in Pittsburgh.
Hasn't Maynard only ever done it live with them once?
I'm pretty sure.
And it was in Vancouver.
Oh.
It was before my time. Like I wouldn't have even liked Deftones back then, but they were doing there used to be this Canada-wide tour called Somersault, but it was spelled like SUMMER. And I want to say it was like started by Smashing Pumpkins, or they were the first one. But there was a year where so it was just across Canada. They would play like sheds across Canada, basically. And there were the lineups were kind of wildly different every year. Some years they would be a little more alt rock, some years, and one year they went heavy and Deftones and Tool were on it together. And so then people thought, oh, they're going to be playing Passenger every night. No. Maynard doesn't roll like that. But in Vancouver, he sang Passenger with them. And as far as I know, that's the only time they've done it together. I'm sure there's listeners who know and will correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am, but I know that is like one time that it happened.
Print the legend, baby. He did it once in Vancouver, and then he said, never again. I'm not giving out. I'm not doing it again. You can't
never
make me do it
again.
again. Absolutely.
Never again.
So we all should mention, we're bearing the lead a little bit, that not only have we all seen Limp Bizkit live, we've all met Fred Durst.
That is true as well. Yes.
We've all met.
We've all met the polar bear.
Yeah.
You guys had obviously like an intimate and cool experience with Fred that I did not have. I had sort of the opposite of that. Fred was on my flight. So we were, and so was Tom Morello because he was opening. So we were in London for, I don't know, a week or a little over a week. And then we were, our second week in the UK, we were going around a different place. So we were going to do a couple days in Belfast, a couple days in Glasgow, a couple days in Edinburgh. And the Belfast trip, quite frankly, was just to see Limp Bizkit, because you have to fly there. There's no other option. There's no train. You can't drive. Obviously, it's on Ireland, which is an island. So we go to fly there. So we go to Heathrow, and we're sitting around in the lounge, and they had it. I think it was actually a Delta flight. And so they had the like separated lanes, like when you're a platinum member, you can be standing in one lane. And then if you're at next, and there was a guy just standing. This is like an hour before our flight is even boarding. And there's a guy just standing in the platinum lane already. And so I remember, like, I was looking at him and I'm like, why? This guy's already fucking lining up for the flight. Like, give me a break. Like, what a loser. And then I'm like, wait a minute. That's Fred Durst. I was like, this is crazy. And so obviously he was doing it because he just didn't want to talk to anybody. So I totally get that. You don't want to sit down and maybe people are going to talk to you or whatever. He was alone by himself in the front of this line, just looking like a normal guy. So then, we end up in line, and we're like in line with Tom Morello. So I'm kind of like chatting to him and the tour manager and stuff, and they're all there. And they had played a show in America like the night before. So they were in the middle of like a 16-hour travel day. And this was the last leg, like, because I think it was in the West Coast. So I want to say they said they had to basically fly from like West Coast of America to East Coast of America, then East Coast of America to London, then London to Belfast. So we get on the flight. So anyway, chat to them. They're very nice. Tom Morello, very nice guy, stage manager, good guy, whatever. We get on and I have not talked to Fred because I'm in the like peasant line. So, but of course, I'm like, I think I posted online or I texted my friends like, Fred Durst is on my flight. Everyone's like, you got to talk to him. You got to get a picture. I'm like, he's in the middle of a 16-hour travel day. It's Fred. Who knows? He could just be an asshole. I don't even want to find that out. I'm just like, I don't, and then it was just like so many people said it. So I said to Becca, I was like, if we get off the plane and he's waiting at the luggage carousel, I'll do it. Because like he's just standing there. He's waiting for his luggage. I don't feel like that's so much of an invasion of privacy or whatever. So then sure enough, we get there and he's got to wait for his luggage and he's just standing there at the luggage carousel by himself. And so I just went up and I introduced myself and I said, I'm a huge fan. I'm actually here from Canada to see the show. And he's like, why the fuck did you come all the way here to see us?
That is the most Fred Durst answer.
I love that. Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, you guys don't come to Canada that often. And then he was like, good point. Something like that. And then I just asked for a picture. He said, sure, no problem. We took a photo. Then it ended up that he was staying in our hotel. I saw him in the hotel lobby a couple times over the course of the next couple of days, but I left him alone. I got my moment. I wasn't gonna go back for seconds or whatever. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was sort of the Fred Durst interaction I think you would expect to have with him. It wasn't quite, being backstage and my friend is working with him or whatever. It sounds like you guys had a very cool experience. But yes, it is very funny. I remember, Lauren, you and I were texting a bunch or DMing or whatever, because obviously you knew I had met him. And then you're like, actually, we're getting backstage and like, I might meet him too. And just for both of our podcasts to have Fred Durst meetings, like within literal months of each other.
It was very close to each other.
Very close to each other. It was so funny.
Just the most incredible. I mean, the thing is that all of that makes sense. I mean, the thing is that, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on the show, and I will continue to talk about it
as you should,
as I should. Was that there was that concern that we didn't want to bother him, and it was the complete. In a way, it's like, okay, you didn't want to bother him because he's not at work and he's just a private citizen right now, just trying to travel. And then we're on the other side where it's like he's at work. I don't want to bother him. I don't want to ruin his work day, so that's the whole thing we're very concerned with, and,
because that was like when our friend Garrett was doing all the stuff out in the crowd, Fred was watching the monitors. Like he's literally like running the show and he's just like, oh, good. That was good. That was it. Okay. And then, like he was, you could tell that this very much was like orchestrated by Fred. Like he is the guy. He's the point of contact for all of this shit.
Well, and
Yeah.
that like checks out, right? Like, I mean, everything you read about Fred in the early days, is Fred a better businessman or a better singer? I mean, I think I know what the answer to that question is. Like,
Singer. Yeah, of course.
Singer.
yeah, 100%. It's like, it's so funny to be like, Jonathan Davis and Chino, their voices were still impeccable. Like Fred's, it genuinely doesn't matter. I mean, he sounded good too, but it was just like, it's also like, it's not even relevant to Limp Bizkit's music. Like, if his voice was kind of shot, you would still have a great, like, it would still be the same experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny just that I wouldn't even think of bringing that up, but yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense that he would be very involved in how the show is running and how things are looking and all. Like, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it also is that, like, yeah, while maybe his voice is not as important, like his showmanship,
Oh
like
yeah.
that is so huge. And the thing is that what it seems to be from what I read and hear about good or bad Limp Bizkit shows is whether or not Fred proverbially shows up, whether or
Right,
not he
seems
wants.
like he's into it.
If he's not into it, if he's bored or he's irritated or something, that'll throw the whole thing off.
Interesting.
But if he's feeling the vibe, then it's going to be an incredible night. And luckily for us, I mean, I've seen him now twice, and both times it definitely felt like he was loving the experience. First time I saw him was we saw him in 2014 when they were just sort of touring around. And
Yeah,
there
because
were
that would have been like Gold Cobra. That's after Gold Cobra, I
after
guess.
Gold Cobra, yeah. And it was right around when it seemed like maybe they were going to put out Stampede of the Disco Elephants because they just put out Ready to
Yes.
Go the previous year.
Right.
And hilariously, I just remembered this detail the other day. Their opener was Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, no way. That's
And
hilarious.
yeah, who we missed. We did not see that open at all. Like, but he came out and did break stuff with them at the end.
Oh, nice.
And I remember I definitely told this story before on the show, is that he came out and he was like, "You about to do break stuff without MGK?" And we, at the time, we had no idea who he was. We're like, "Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Who
We
are
would,
you?" Yeah,
we
absolutely.
are. Yeah, that's actually the plan. That is
Yeah.
the plan, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
you nailed it.
It's crazy.
You got it.
It's crazy the band that wrote this fucking song is just going to perform it.
It's going to
Perform it
perform
without you.
Nuts.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I have a very like dichotomous, like, so Limp Bizkit were great both times, but famously, Summer Sanitarium is in the era, like, people do not like Limp Bizkit at this time, like, quite aggressively, and they were direct support for Metallica. So it was like this tricky thing because obviously Metallica huge. Obviously, there's a lot of Metallica fans who wouldn't like any of those bands on the undercard.
Right.
They're all new metal bands of varying degrees of popularity. And it was right after Meteora came out. So Linkin Park is like, they're at their absolute zenith. Like, you could easily make the case they should have been direct support and not Limp Bizkit. Like, the crowd was definitely more excited to see Linkin Park. And I looked this up because I was very funny. I got to have like an old man moment where there is this actually young curler who really likes new metal and like aggressive music. And he was saying Linkin Park is like his favorite band ever. And he's 25. So I was telling him about seeing Summer Sanitarium and I sent him the set list and he was just like, I can't believe you're at this, But I was looking at the set list and Linkin Park did basically a full headlining set. Like, that was the whole thing, is like, Deftones did maybe 30 minutes, but Linkin Park's set was 19 songs. They did basically like all of Hybrid Theory and all of Meteora, essentially. So they had pretty much a full headline set. Limp Bizkit had basically a full headline set. And then obviously Metallica had a full headline set. So, but yeah, so it was interesting because, yeah, the crowd was so fucking excited for Linkin Park. It's the biggest mosh pit I've ever seen because it was on the football field and it was like the circle was basically from like one sideline to the other. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then Limp Bizkit, people did not want to, they actively got booed. Like, when they came out on stage, the crowd booed them before this show hasn't even started. Like, it's like the lights go down, they play the build-up music and people are booing. And Fred came on stage and he was just like, I know you guys are booing us now, but by the end of this set, like, you guys are going to be loving us and cheering for us and whatever. And that's exactly what happened. Like, the performance was so good. They won the crowd over. They were incredible. And so it was kind of interesting that I saw I saw them in their sort of like heyday of being hated, and now it's like everybody's come around full circle, whether it's ironic or non-ironic. Everybody's come around to like, no, Limp Bizkit is like cool and good actually. And so I'm sure has got to be some element to that for them that like Korn and Deftones never really had. Like they never really went through that we're getting booed, people hate us kind of thing. I think because Fred Durst was more of a pop culture figure than Chino and Jonathan Davis ever were.
For
He
sure.
maybe dated Christina Aguilera and he was doing all that, whatever. So like, yeah, it was, I think they're on some level when I saw them last year, I agree with you, Lauren. Like it felt like they were really soaking it in, but it also felt to me like there has to be part of their journey in the back of their minds where they're like, we did years of shows where people were booing us. And now there's 30,000 people in a park in Belfast, Northern Ireland that are having the time of their lives. Like there has to be some element that like affects them on a positive level like that.
Yeah. I definitely think so, because I think also on these last couple of tours that they've done, like people are it's legitimate hype, legitimately excited to see them, and I think it also helps that the Still Sucks record was amazing.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that we're seeing now, and we keep talking about our show, that all we're seeing the big I don't want to blowback's not the word. The big result from that record is everyone's trying to rip off Wes again, and they're trying to rip off the out of style riff, and we keep running across terrible iterations of this riff, and people trying to like, maybe if I don't know, run it through like the Transformers filter. Someone's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It's bad news. It's no good. And so now it's like, now they're once again like leading the charge. And then what's really great is with this new song, it's actually like a bona fide hit. It's like number one on all these charts. And it's like, okay, like we're really back. We're really back. So I'm feeling very excited for whatever they do for, whatever the tour is for whenever this album comes out. I mean, Fred right now, today as we record this, he had posted on his Instagram this morning that he was in the studio by himself working on vocals. So
amazing.
So a full album's coming. And you know what? I mean, I'm just going to put it out there once again. I think it'd be really cool if Fred called up Jonathan Davis, and then he jumped on like a conference call, and he also called Chino, and he said, guys, Three Kings tour, what do you say? Everybody, here's what I say: Deftones and Limp Bizkit rotate, and Korn headlines every night. That's my pitch.
Like rotate, like who plays first and who plays second, and Korn plays last.
Correct.
I just think Deftones will never do it. They wouldn't do it back. They wouldn't do it back in the day, and they won't do it now. They're like one of the bands that is still hanging on to the like, we were never nu metal. I don't know why people ever called us nu metal, and they just have a weird hang up. I think Deftones would do Korn. I think Deftones would tour with Korn. They just did like a couple dates in Toronto with System of a Down, where they did like a combo co-headline thing at like a big outdoor stadium that seats like 40,000 that they have there. And then Korn and System of a Down also did similar stuff. So I could see Deftones doing it with Korn, because I think Deftones, even though they don't think of themselves as nu metal, I believe they have an inherent respect for Korn. I don't think they respect Limp Bizkit. And I think Deftones would be they're the holdouts. They're the ones who wouldn't do it. I agree. Like, I think with where the three of them are at right now, they could, if those three packaged, they could do football stadiums.
Oh yeah.
For sure. It's like the Hella Mega Tour, right? Or whatever, like Weezer, Green Day, Fall Out Boy. It's like, and that was football stadiums.
Right.
This feels like a similar thing. You could do football stadiums with those three together, but I think Deftones would be the ones that would hold it up, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not giving up just yet.
You shouldn't. Keep it going. I would love to go. If they do it, I'm going to multiple dates of that.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think, well, I mean, plus this opens up the option, talking about collabs, what Chino can do Wicked.
Oof.
And then, as much as they say they would never do it, and it's a very problematic song, can you imagine
All in the Family?
Can you imagine All in the Family in a fucking football stadium? The place would go nuts. People would be thrilled.
All in the Family 2026 version, new lyrics.
Yeah, that's what.
Just honestly, do some new lyrics.
Do. You know what? That's the sell. That's the sell. That's that they re-record All in the Family with new lyrics.
And they name the tour All in the Family. and Deftones is also on it. So they re-record it. Chino's on it too. So they do All in the Family 2026. The tour is called All in the Family, and they close by playing the songs they're all on sort of together.
You just took it to the next level.
I
You did it,
mean,
John. That's
I'm
why
just
I
looking at an ATM spitting out money.
spitting it out.
Man. How I mean it would be spitting out money in a crazy way. I mean, I will say I saw Our Lady Peace about 6 months ago.
Oh, Our
And,
Lady?
I
Our
know, and I
Lady.
know you guys love Our Lady Peace. Being Detroit guys, you got a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of the
tons.
OLP over the border.
Starseed.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely like they were one of the bands I grew up on. So like for me, like Navid, Happiness is a Fish You Cannot Catch, Clumsy, and Spiritual Machines, those first 4 records are still like unassailable records to me. Clumsy in particular, but all of them are really good. But I saw them, and they famously did the entrance music for WWE superstar Chris Benoit, who, if you know
Right.
anything about Chris Benoit, has a
Oh,
very
Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, yikes. He had a very yikes, and
He
is
had a
dead
yikes.
now.
Yeah.
He had a yikes, and so of course, once he had a yikes, Our Lady Peace stopped playing that song. Well, on this tour, they have basically reclaimed the song, and they have been playing it live. I was at the very first stop of the tour, so I saw them play it live for the first time, and they kind of did the same thing. They went back in the studio, and before they were going to play it, Rain, the lead singer of OLP, was like, this song obviously has a bit of a troubled past, but we wrote it sort of for a guy, but it was also like about a lot of feelings we were having at the time, and we think it's a good song, and we don't think it needs to be associated with him anymore. Enough time has passed. Like, it's our song. We are taking it back. And like it's really is it's a song about mental health, and it kind of like they did that whole thing, and so then they just played it, and then they put like suicide hotline numbers and stuff like on the screen behind them while they were playing it, and then they re-recorded it, and all the proceeds went to charity. But it was so funny because that was WWE entrance music. It was never on an Our Lady Peace album, only came out on a WWE album.
Oh, yeah.
So no one in the audience knew it. I mean, I loved it because I was a wrestling guy. I was like, hell yeah, they're playing whatever. This is sick. Half the crowd just like sat down, or they like went to get beers. Like, I don't even know this, so they're going through the trouble of being like, we're playing this murderer's song. We're reclaiming it. But all of that is to say, it feels like there's room to like reclaim All in the Family. Like, yeah, we made some
Absolutely.
mistakes and we said some words we shouldn't have said, but like we're taking it back.
Absolutely. This is just building fuel to my fire that this can happen.
Of
I
the
love
Three
it.
Kings.
Well, no, we're going to scrap Three Kings, the All in the Family tour. There it is.
Because it's got family, and it connects to family values tour too. Like, you're getting a little bit of that in there.
Yeah. This is all great stuff. This is all great stuff. This is perfect. And we've kind of run through right everything else we were going to talk about on the app, but I think it's perfect then Matt, we can cap off how we always cap off an episode of Roach Koach, and that is with a list. And of course, that list is Rippers for Roaches 2.
The Rise of the Roach. Again.
I like that.
There we go. So we have this list. We've been listening to some incredible rippers, some incredible rockers on this list. Matt, what do we have this week?
This week on the list, we are taking a look at Dummy by a band called Flagman.
Flagman. And these are songs that get sent in to you. People suggest these songs, you were telling me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So here we go. I love this.
I love
this.
This is amazing. This is new AF. And everything that I kept thinking was going to happen, but I didn't think he would actually do it, because then he switched it up. He's like, stupid asshole. And then he just starts screeching. Words gone. Just guttural noises. Just screeching.
Now, do we think they're doing the Batman riff on purpose? Is that on purpose, or is that like accidental?
I gotta believe it's on purpose.
Okay.
I gotta believe it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was
They are a deep fried 3-piece weirdo set from Orlando, Florida.
That's how I would describe it for sure. Deep
Tracks
fried
completely.
weirdo 3
Mhm.
piece.
We crawl on our bellies. We slither in your ears. If we, and you know that's spelled fucked up. I mean,
Oh,
And you know how they spell in that. It's like the new metal equivalent of "It Smell Crazy" in there. And you
exactly.
know how they be spelling that
They be
sentence.
spelling that shit
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh, you know there's some extra Y's and a couple more Z's than necessary. Another one of these bands that like all their promotional stuff is like pictures with people with barcodes over their eyes
Oh,
or
geez.
just straight barred out, court documents. It's just like
Cool.
cool. Well, I forget the name of the band, but I loved them. But they were another band where like the first piece of music or the album cover was basically an affidavit. It was just like,
Oh, it was Prison.
yes, prison.
Yes. You got if you guys haven't done Prison yet.
Oh,
John,
we definitely have not done.
you got to do Prison. You've
Oh,
got
you
to.
I mean, we
gotta
still
do
have.
Prison.
I mean, we haven't done like Issues yet, so like, I don't think we're gonna get to Prison anytime soon. But
Listen, here's the thing though. You've already done. You said you're on Dope, Felons and
we
Revolutionaries.
are on Dope. But we've
And
been pretty good at like meeting out the big boys. Like we still have several Deftones albums left. We've got a ton of Korn left.
but you're letting your audience vote though,
Our
right?
audience does vote.
Your audience, yeah. So when you have the audience vote, that's the thing is that they are going to roll in and they're going to be like, "Oh, they got to do this wacky one. They got to do
No,
this."
we've
crazy
done that before. Like we've tried. Like Brian and I have both tried to put sort of like deeper cut new stuff on it, and
Mhm.
it gets annihilated in the polls.
Interesting.
Absolutely smoked.
So you feel fairly confident that when you decide to put Issues on it, Issues is going to smoke whatever else you got on the list.
It's weird. It can depend. Like Issues has been in polls before and hasn't won.
Mhm.
I think it just obviously it depends what it's up against. But it also we have cultivated this thing on our show because of our general attitude that I was discussing earlier. We are getting to the point where I do think people, I don't know if it's a 50-50 split, but there is a very large portion of the fan base that prefers when we do a stinker. Like to them, the best version of the POD cast is Brian and I shitting on something, and it's not us covering a new metal classic. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still also a large portion of our audience that, yeah, they would just prefer that we only cover the big boys and they don't even listen to the other episodes. If they haven't heard of the band, they don't listen.
Mhm.
But yeah, Issues would probably win a poll, I would say. We haven't done Korn in a minute too, so that's also an effect. I think the last time we did Korn, we did Untouchables, and I want to say it was probably a year and a half ago, to be fully honest with you.
Oh, wow.
So they could be ready for another Korn. No, we did Untouchables exactly a year ago, last September. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean we space it out. We do a Korn a year.
yeah,
And I mean, I can say we have another Korn coming. It's in
love
the
it.
can. So be excited, everybody.
Love that.
Yeah, but we space them out just so it isn't we don't run out. Here's the thing, there was that worry of like, oh, we're gonna run out of all the big ones, which we have run out of the big ones, but we haven't run out of Korn albums because they got
Yeah, Korn has so many.
14, 12,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so there's so many.
We're almost out of Limp Bizkit. The only Limp Bizkit one we haven't done is The Unforgettable Truth and Still Sucks. We did a mini review of Still Sucks like when it came out,
Mhm.
but we haven't done like a full episode length of Still Sucks. But we've done all the other Limp Bizkit ones.
Okay.
Deftones, we still have a ton. Deftones,
Oh.
we've actually only done Adrenaline, Around the Fur, White Pony, and Self-Titled. We haven't done any of the later ones. So
Mm.
so
Oh,
we
wow.
still got a Diamond Eyes. I'm sure we'll do a private music in a while. We did a private music mini review also when it came out, but
Okay. Yeah, we as this goes up, our gore episode was last week.
nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah, we have not got to late era Deftones. So I'm excited for that because I think some of it needs a like I was shocked when we did self-titled. I was shocked how much I loved it. Like, I mean, I
Oh.
liked it back in the day, but I was like, this album is fucking incredible. I mean, it's as good as anything else. It's as good as White Pony for me. It's just close. Like
It's my favorite. So
yeah,
it's
like
always I've always been I mean it's got Bloody Cape on it. I mean, what
Bloody
are we talking
Cape,
about?
Hexagram,
Ugh,
Bloody Cape. I mean, what
yeah,
are we talking about here? Yeah,
yeah,
it's wall to wall bangers other than
yeah.
Lucky You, but
Right. Yeah.
shame about Lucky You, but what can
Oh
we do?
well, you know.
By the way, if you're in a conversation and you don't know any Deftones and this is all you heard, all you have to do is say, "Oh man, Bloody Cape," and then just walk away and you're covered.
Yep.
Because it seems like that's all you gotta do.
Bloody
That's all you
Cape.
gotta do.
That's all you
Bloody
gotta
Cape.
do.
That's all
Bloody
you
Cape.
need. That's all you need.
What a song.
Incredible song. Incredible. I mean, the first time I got to see them do it live, I remember thinking like my life is now complete
Mhm.
because I've now seen Bloody Cape live. Truly incredible.
Yeah, I think I only saw them do it live once, maybe, and it probably was right around when the self-titled came out. So
I saw them do it. I think it was when they did the Incubus Death from Above tour
Oh,
in
man.
2015.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a strange one. We've talked about it on the show where it was like, why is Incubus headlining? It didn't make sense because Death from Above went super hard, Deftones went super hard, and then Incubus just sort of noodled around,
Barefoot.
barefoot, no shirt. Yeah, and
Djembes.
yeah, and then a year later, we ended up seeing Incubus with Jimmy Eat World, and that show made perfect sense. Like it was
Perfect
like
sense.
everything was good. Incubus was better. It was like, okay, you just can't pair them with like two all
Yeah,
timers.
I mean, I think Incubus is a great live band. I've seen them 5 times probably. I think they're an excellent live band. But yes, I agree. You'd have to have them like you could do a co-headline with them and Deftones, but you'd need Incubus to play first.
Yeah. So, well, there you have it. John, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me,
Congratulations
guys.
again on the book.
you.
Congratulations to you and Brian on the continued great work you're doing with the
Thank you.
P.O.D.Kast.
Thank you.
So everybody should go out, order John's book. Out now in Canada, coming out in the United States in
February, I believe.
February.
Sweet.
Okay.
You can
Perfect.
pre-order it now on Amazon at least. If you don't like to support Amazon, I think if you use the like indie bookstore website where it'll connect you to the nearest indie bookstore in your neighborhood or in your city, some of them do have it for pre-order, but some of them don't. So up to you, but it is available for pre-order in some places in America.
There you go.
Right on.
Perfect. Absolutely. And I mean, February, that means it's a perfect gift for Valentine's Day.
Agreed.
So,
Couldn't agree more.
there you go. Thank you so much, John. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Keep on saying hello to us online: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're on all of those. Send us an email, roachkoachpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/roachkoachpodcast. The crack, the butt rock bracket is ongoing. Matt and I are learning about ourselves and learning about butt
Our
rock,
bodies.
our bodies. We're learning in real time. These episodes are listen, you listen to those, you're like, these guys, they're going through it with these songs. We really are. Okay.
Is the bracket to pick the best or the worst?
It's the most.
Most butt rock. Okay.
most
and,
Yeah.
and who's the front runner right now where you're at in the bracket? Are you allowed to say?
As we record this, I do feel like Puddle of Mud Blurry
Yeah.
might be the song to beat.
Yeah.
But we've already been surprised.
Honestly, a fucking good song. I'm
It
gonna be
is.
straight with you. Blurry,
Yeah.
blurry bangs.
But I
Blurry.
will say, fucking Higher by Creed is so
Oh,
butt. It
It's
is
so butt.
like,
yeah.
because we're not looking at quality of song.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
Oh, no.
cannot.
No.
No.
But also Higher does kind of bang as well. So
The video for Higher too is like,
Ooh,
we
yeah.
call it the crack factor. It's
Yeah.
like the things that kind of just like push it into another level. That video is gonzo.
it's also just like Scott Stapp and Wes Scantlin is actually a really tight race for who is like more butt. But I will say Higher does have something that Blurry does not have, which is
Yeah.
Oh, we talk at
Talked
length.
about it. Yeah, we talk at length about that. Yeah, it does have that. Now we will say what's funny, and a little preview if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, is that one band that we thought was going to run the board was Nickelback. And
Mm.
Nickelback already had one song get eliminated. They lost to Default in the first round
Yeah,
because
I would say I think Default is more butt than Nickelback.
yeah,
Is it Wasting My Time?
correct.
Yeah, that song
Yeah.
is butt as fuck.
Yeah, and it took out Photograph. And
Yeah,
because
I would agree with that. I would agree
yeah.
with that assessment.
Yeah, and but when we were putting it together, we kind of thought, well,
No way.
no way is like Nickelback's going to be running. And then we heard it and we're like, I mean, the thing about it is that it really felt like Nickelback need to get some dynamics in there. It's pretty flat, not really a lot going on there, but also a song like Photograph, basically just about how you used to go to school and now you're grown up and you don't go to school anymore. It's like, what are we doing here? Well,
But
the
there
Default
is
guys, yeah.
we on the list, because we pulled 32 songs. There's one more Nickelback song that when we turned it on, Lauren can vouch, it was like I got kicked in the solar plexus.
Yeah.
It just took the wind right out of me. It was so, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And we've got Chad Kroeger's solo effort.
Oh, yeah.
That song, that's gonna
I
put up
love
a
when
fight.
lead singers go solo and then just do more
Exactly
of
the
the
same
already what
thing.
they're already doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nickelback is well, it's also Default has the thing going for it, which we have discussed on the P.O.D.Kast, which is a key element of great butt rock songs, or like one of the key themes of butt rock songs is "Leave Me Alone." That's the Godsmack school. Every Godsmack song is either "I'm a practicing witch" or leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. And so Wasting My Time, I mean, that's a classic you're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. Like, he's mad. Leave me alone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually had not told this to you, Matt, and this is news. I had a dream where we didn't have Hero by Chad Kroeger and Josie Scott on the list, and I woke up in a panic going, how did we make this mistake? How is this not in the bracket? And I remember
there was no way I was gonna let us make that mistake.
Pulled up the bracket and I went, oh no, it's on it. It was just a terrible nightmare.
That song is incredible. It's so good. I love it. I think it's one of the best songs ever. And that it also has great butt rock lore, which is that Josie Scott was paid way less than he thought he was going to get paid for the song. So, because I don't even remember how we got into talking about that on POD. I think it was because when we did Every 6 Seconds, but yeah, the way it kind of goes is like Josie Scott and Chad Kroeger were just like at a bar, or they were at some function, they're drinking together. Chad's like, I'm working on this song for the Spider-Man soundtrack. Want you to come down and do vocals on it. And promised him an exorbitant amount of money to do this. 80 grand, I want to say, is like the number. Come down, record these vocals, whatever. It ends up that he gets paid $5,000 for Hero and then Chad blames it on the label or something. And so, yeah, he Josie gives all these interviews at the time period where he's like, it was the biggest song. It was like the #1 song and it's on this huge soundtrack. And I only got $5,000 and Chad fucked me and we don't really talk anymore. And so there's some really good butt rock backstory you can get into when you talk about
butt rock backstory.
Backstory. Love it. Awesome. All right. Well, John, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And Matt, thank you.
Lauren, thank you.
And
John, thank you.
Do I sing at this
there you go.
There, that's it.
That's
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.